Hello everyone, and welcome to the show.
If you should awaken, I will be there when you wake from your lovely
Today, I would like to start off with the chapter because this particular chapter is going to have a lot of explaining to do. So here we are from my book, Ungodly Gods, chapter 60, Atmospheric Heaven.
Chapter 60, Atmospheric Heaven.
On the next Saturday, Yeshua, Jesus, was eager to meet with tutor Cleo. Most people were familiar with one heaven, but unfamiliar with four of them. Cleo began to read from the priest notes.
Atmospheric heaven is the heaven of choice, at least for all formal religions. When one thinks of heaven, they think of a place of familiarity, a place of camaraderie, a place of like-mindedness, a place of kinsmanship, a place of fellowship, brotherhood and closeness. They think of togetherness and solidarity. They think of a place of privilege and of uniqueness, a place that's special and exclusive. These are just a few of the traits that atmospheric heaven beholds. If your soul is in search of pearly gates, it is here where you will find them. If it's streets of gold you wish, you will behold them. It is where the saints go marching in by the thousands. Day in and night out, they flow in. God-fearing, and ever so humble are their spirits. It is where biblicists teach scriptures that are endless. There you'll hear songs of praise and glory and worship. They will speak in unknown tongues all the days long, and jump, and shout, and flail all about. They will crowd in tight places, stuffed like sardines, to hear words they've heard in church before, and it is here where they shall hear them forevermore. Outdoors will be factions of militaries of all kind, and dignitaries so guilty of various crimes. Sports persons all in their prime, suited in sync and marching in time. They'll call to their comrades, similar of kind, to hear dreams assured they're certain to find. Their boots will shine brightly, for that is their goal. Their beds stretched tightly, to a standardized hold. Their weapons kept sharp, not eager to shed. With memories of all the destructions they've led. All manner of gang life, large and small.
Cleo explained that this heaven's for all.
Factions and coalitions it honor a call. Those ones enlightened. Those spirits are frightened free from it all. Evil they were, forever they've all been. The blood of Christ Jesus is all they need say, to think they are worthy of a heavenly stay.
Yeshua was alerted when hearing his name, and asked,
Why are they saying my name? Could they be talking of me?
However, I am most sure they must be thinking of another Jesus and not you.
Cleo said that the literature that she was reading came from the divine priest and that they have abilities far beyond most people. She went on to read,
Murderers and killers that were saved by grace. All those confessions now live in this place. The most diabolical acts that men could partake will be welcomed, however, because of their faith, and there will be men like Hitler's and Jones and Sam enjoying this heaven and not be damned.
Again, who are these people?
asked Jesus. Cleo just looked at him and continued to read.
The papal inquisitions were burned at the stake, were forgiven after giving their souls in faith. Provocateurs of genocide shall all meet in this heaven, and will remain until each of their victims forgives them. Those who thought slaves were theirs to be owned will live in this heaven, thou not alone. The selfish, the wicked, the self-righteous shall dwell for all eternity in this heaven like hell. For those who burned St. John at the stake, for eternity you shall dwell in this godless place. And for those who thought, well, watching Jesus suffer, here is the place you'll dwell, a place like no other.
Whoa, there it is again,
said Jesus. This time Cleo began to explain to Yeshua that the name Jesus is a very popular name these days, and how he was so vain.
To think that anyone would have written anything about you,
she exclaimed.
Let's continue,
said Cleo.
It is in this place where segregation thrives, and forever be separate, separate in lies. So selfish were they in their thinking. In heaven for them, where no others are welcomed, in the upper heavens no religions or cults exists, eternity for spirits higher, a promise, made joyous. This atmospheric heaven, God is not his true name. This slicky tricky ruler, it's from hell he came. This God and this heaven that the Bible spoke of, played tricks on mankind in the name of love. It is he that they chose to lead us, and it was him that deceived Christ Jesus. It was a promise he made after he had fallen. Capturing all souls here as God, they would call him. For he hides his horns, in different forms, posing as peace, to you I must warn. He will call himself whatever it takes just to fool them. He'll chase from behind, and run you right back into him. Because he is Satan, he'll never change, for he's the God of this earth, so he is God, all the same. He will trick you to believe he is love just to please us. Use waters to drown the soul of John the Baptist. Took the Pharaoh Akhenaten and renamed him Moses, changed that true story to a story of a bush and 10 commandments. His stories of deception can go on forever. The truth is this Satan's, for us, is too clever. Do not underestimate, he's impossible to outthink though. You only make it easier for him if you think so. Every trick in every book he's already mastered. A billion ways, 100 steps, it's your soul he is after. He works on your spirit before you are born. Before your eyes open to his heaven, you're sworn. There is but one way to avoid this. Hold ever so tight to the one spirit you were born with.
Jesus sat very quietly after hearing the priest poem. He could not help but to be intimidated by the rhetoric of it all as he gathered his things and hurried home to hug his mother and father as if his mind had been scarred into sudden frightfulness.
Subscribe and push the like button.
Like I said, that one has a little bit of explaining to do. We knew that this book was going to be complicated. When I went to the Writers Association and we went through the publishing process, we knew that people would not be able to conceptualize what the book was saying. So we were encouraged to maybe write a children's book to go along with it. But what we decided to do instead was have these videos go with the book, and then I could explain each chapter as we go through them. Atmospheric Heaven. What this book is describing is the 5 levels of heaven. When you pass away, what happens to you then is your spirit is evaluated by not necessarily a council, but by your own spirit. Your own spirit actually knows what exactly it came here for. And did it accomplish it or did it not? So basically what's going to happen is you will evaluate how you did from your spirit standpoint. That's why I would encourage everyone to follow their spirit. Then they won't have to worry about it. It will be a constant progression. If you go do anything your brain wants to do, that's how we all get into trouble, because our brain does not know what's best for us in the long run. It has to do with needs in a quick way, needs that are designed more to impress people or impress whatever. It's a situation where a lot of the things are not a benefit to your spiritual growth. And since your spirit is here forever and your body is not, it will behoove you to try to go in line with the spirit, because the body is, once it's done here, it's done, and it's going to come back and do something entirely different to try to accomplish the same goals, meaning to elevate its own spirituality. Now, I am not like a minister who is trying to frighten people with going to hell. I keep saying there's no such thing as hell. So, but the situation that may occur can be frightening, simply because I like to talk about born again Christians, because that's where I was raised. That won't do me any good to talk about Islam. I was not that, or Catholic. I was not that. I was, in the Church of God in Christ, and this is where I learned all of my so anyway, so when I'm talking, understand that when I'm talking about the Bible, I'm only talking about the Bible, part of the Bible that's not that positive. We all know there's a bunch of wonderful positive things within the Bible. It took 100 years to write the thing. I'm sure they got some of it right. The problem I have with it is when you go to church, they're teaching the same things over and over and over, and have been doing this for more than 2,000 years, and they're not bringing anything else to the table. I was talking to a friend of mine at the gym yesterday, and he told me that he's not about the Bible, he's about science. He said God is science, and he's absolutely right. This is what we need to learn, the science of God, because the science is what the Creator is. Science has not done anything that the Creator did not create before them and left it there for them to find. If we're talking about science, it's God. Science, the way we approach it here on as beings, is we take it upon ourselves and try to take the glory for it, and then do ungodly things with the science. So if you recognize it for what it is and represent it in the way it's supposed to be represented, everything will be just fine. So I'm not talking about the negative things in the Bible. I'm talking about the things that shouldn't even be in such a document. We went over last week or a couple of weeks ago where the fabric of the universe, I'm going to show you a diagram of what the fabric of the universe looks like. And what that looks like is a matrix that God is a part of. And once once you see how this whole thing operates, then you'll understand. Now, when I'm talking about heaven and hell, the problem with heaven and hell is simply that it is a place where the born again Christians are they are it's where they want to go. Hell is a place where you don't want to go. This is a place where they want to go. This is a place where the saints go marching in by the thousands. The problem with this whole thing is we're dealing with a religion that says only born again Christians get to enter into this kingdom. Now, that's fine and dandy, but you need to understand that there's other factions that are saying the same thing, and they're also correct. So you're going to have born again Christians here, you're going to have Muslims here, you're going to have Catholics, you're going to have everything going to this particular place. But I guarantee you the place is not what you thought it was. Imagine yourself going through some pearly gates, and the only people that's going through those gates are people just like yourself. And they've accomplished the same thing. They confessed their blood to Jesus, and now they're just here. We're down the road a little bit. You're going to have a whole nother group of people who have a whole nother religion, pretty much, and a whole different ideology. But it's going to be a restriction because these Christians are here to follow their doctrine. The gangbangers are going to be there to follow their doctrine. The white supremacists are going to be over here to follow. Everybody's going to be in this particular place in a different section following their doctrine. And believe me, after a few thousand years of that, you're going to get sick of being around the same people. I feel this and I know this because I know that's not the purpose of life. The purpose of life is not to go somewhere and be around people that you only want to be around and everybody else be damned. That's not the purpose. The purpose of life is to elevate all spirits all the time, not just stagnate. Now, in the video, what it was describing, it was a poem written by the priest and recited by Jesus' tutor, Cleopatra. And certainly it was kind of frightful because what it described is that heaven is a place where the battle, like I've always said, Lucifer and God. Lucifer is here, God is down here. This God that Lucifer was fighting was not the creator of the universe. You don't mess with the creator of the universe. You mess with this one though, because this one is calling himself God and he shouldn't be. This is the one that Lucifer was battling. This is the one Lucifer said, I will conquer, and this is the one Lucifer did conquer. He basically created a place where all the religions think they're going, but it happens to be him that is in charge of it. He tricked everybody into going there. It was easy for him. He knows the past, present, and the future. He knows exactly what to tell you. Lucifer can plan to tell you something and sit there and watch and see if it works before he does it. And if it doesn't work, he can switch the plan until he finds one that does. And he found one that does. He changed the Old Testament from a God that was, you better do what he said, to one that loves you so much he gave his only son. He made up a story about the creator of the universe having a son, and people believe that. Science will tell you that the creator of the universe is in everyone. It's not a person that had a physical baby, and that baby was Jesus. Jesus didn't know what was being done to him. He didn't know he was being used that way, so he was still groomed to be this Messiah, but he literally had to sit up there and get beat up and bleed like a regular human being because that's all he was. You know, and if you thought he was anything different, well, I mean, if he had been something other than a human being, it would have been nice if he could have just done some magic stuff. You know, they said he did magic and walked on water. Well, he may wanted to walk away from that cross if he could have, but he couldn't because he was a regular man. He was just a man. And the horrifying thing about the whole story, whether it's true or not, Jesus never said you had to give him your blood in order to go to heaven. That's Dracula and Blackula. I mean, that's, you know, that's Boris Karloff movie. Give me your blood. How do you give him your blood in the first place? I mean, you know, what do you do? Well, it's easy. You simply confess yourself. I'm giving you my blood and I'm giving you my thing. Now, the way this is written up in Scripture, it's like a get out of jail free card. As long as you say that before you die, it doesn't matter what you did in your life, you get to go to heaven. I mean, so that's why when you get to this particular heaven, atmospheric heaven, you're going to find people there and you're going to wonder, how in the hell did Hitler get here? Well, he believed in, you know, he probably said the same thing you did before you passed away. You know, and it didn't even matter. You don't have to say that because Lucifer made that up. You're going to go to this place anyway, regardless, because that's how you live. Your brain and your spiritual value is going to take you right to the place where you designed your soul to go. You wanted your soul to go to this special place with these pearly gates. Well, all that glistens is not gold, and you're going to end up finding all kinds of factions all over there in various places. Now, you're going to have to stay there as long as it takes for you to figure this thing out. Once you figure out that this is really not what you thought it would be, then you're going to decide to go back into your spirit. Your spirit is going to be with you the whole time, waiting for you to do the right thing, just like it's doing right now. Once your spirit decides that it's time for you to maybe work with it a little bit, it will design a sort of a life for you to come back somewhere and try to do the whole thing over again. You're going to have to do it over again, and you're going to have to do it right. You're going to reincarnate. If you did too much damage, then it's just going to make it harder for you in the next life. You're not going to burn in hell. The burn in hell thing is just goofy. And so, I mean, I can't even imagine black people having a civil rights movement to be freed from slavery, and they don't have a civil rights movement to be free from going to hell. It's just ridiculous. They'll let their children just go to hell. They don't care. That's their fault. I mean, that's like telling, you know, hey, you got caught by the slave owners, told you not to get caught, that's your fault. I don't care. Well, that's what you're saying when you think it's okay for your loved ones to go to hell, and it's okay. The problem is that's not where they're going. God never said that. They made that up. And Jesus, you don't have to give your blood to Jesus like he's a vampire. He didn't ask you to do that. Find somewhere in the Bible where he said it, and I'm going to tell you, I'll find out the person who wrote it, because it wasn't the creator of the universe. The creator of the universe does not write. He doesn't write anything. He knows what will happen if you try to write. Now, let me just try to show you a little bit of what the creator of the universe looks like. On this graphic here, this is what a matrix looks like. This is what fabric, three-dimensional fabric, looks like if you are able to see into it. It looks like these. These balls that you see, these are the molecular structures within the matrix of the universe. The whole universe has a system like this, just running through it. Now, if you squished all this stuff together and you butt them balls together, then it will just make them tight. In the center of all of this, you're going to find dark matter. This is what the matrix of the universe looks like. It looks like this. And so you have a a three-dimensional, basically a whole. If you want to see what the Creator looks like, then let me show you another graphic here. This is a nebula, and it is what God, the Creator, looks like. So too is this. Now, all of these things are in a system that is God. Let me show you another graphic of what, if God did have a particular look, it would look something like this. All of these things going on inside of this head are the planets and the stars and the galaxies and everything else in between. God doesn't necessarily have a contiguous external integument, which means an outer coating, but if he did, we can't see it. All we know is everything inside of all this are the things that we see when we look up at night. All the stars and all the planets. The Creator of the universe is a very, very big thing. It's not something that's restricted to this planet. Let me explain to you how big this thing is. The Garden of Eden story. Not only was God present, the Creator of the universe present in the Garden of Eden when Adam and Eve and the snake was there, but this Creator of the universe was the Garden of Eden. Everything there was a part of him. Everything there was a part of his own matrix. Even the dirt that they walked on, even the trees that they hung around. There is no God, Yahweh, talking to Adam and Eve in the garden. If he was, he would have been a part of them. The Creator of the garden is all-encompassing, and he is everywhere and a part of everything. The purpose of life is simply to bring the part of you that is human, that is biological, and avatar together with a spirit that is here to try to teach you how to do the right thing and elevate. Here's another graphic I'd like to show you. This is where the human body takes off every night. Every time you go to bed at night or whenever you sleep, your spirit leaves your body. The reason it has to leave your body, listen very carefully, is because your spirit cannot stand to live with your brain for too long. It's just that simple. If your spirit doesn't leave, so it's almost like it has to leave and go back to the Creator to get rejuvenated. If that didn't happen, I would imagine your spirit would probably leave and not come back. So it has to go back and say, okay, God, can you give me a little more boost so I can go back and deal with this man brain down here, because he's a piece of work. So that's what this is all about. Your spirit leaves when you go to bed at night. We'll talk about sleep paralysis and astral projection on another show. But I want to thank you guys for coming, and press the like button, and we're getting somewhere. There are 4 more levels of heaven, and they get better. So, and I'll show you how to get to each level of heaven. I will show you. I don't know. Yeah. Anyway, thank you guys for coming, and we'll see you next time.
Subscribe and push the like button.